It's amazing to think how technology has progressed. Here we have something from around about 2000, the Sony mini disc recorder, the MZR-90, small, compact, takes small discs, very convenient, easy to carry around, used as a domestic recorder, although there were professional versions of this machine called, Marantz made them. But during the time in which this was around, we had the professional series of tape recorders. This is a Fostex DAT machine, a lot larger. However, it's earlier electronics that I'm more interested in. We saw in a previous video the EMI BTR-2, BTR standing for British Tape Recorder, 2 being the second revision. The machine that I had was a portable or transportable, too large to be carried by a single person. Each box needed to be carried by at least 2 men, so it wasn't exactly a machine that you could cart around. It wasn't stereo either. However, they did bring out in the early 60s a small battery operated valve driven tape recorder. This is the L2B. Now, these recorders were available for news reporting, but they weren't used for high quality broadcast. They were literally for out in the field recordings. The machine that they would have used for, say for instance, high quality sound recording films, or something a little bit more important, is the machine underneath it, which is 3 boxes. It is the portable EMI TR-90. Now, the L2B is small, lightweight and battery operated, but the TR-90 was designed for broadcast quality. This is the TR-90, the main top tape deck, and there's 3 main variants of the portable: a mono, stereo, or stereo in 3 boxes. And stereo in 3 boxes being a little bit more rarer than the rest because the physical size of it. 3 large boxes like these 3 here obviously meant a lot more lugging around when you could get everything into just 1 box. The problem is that on those particular machines you'd have, say for instance, a mono replay head, so you would only have 1 set of replay electronics, where this machine's got both replay electronics. You'd also lose an internal speaker here. They put the speaker in the front, which is a lot more sensible because this recorder here has got 2 valve amplifiers inside it underneath the main tape deck for amplifying what's coming off the head. So this machine itself on its own will give 2 channels output, but being a more expensive machine, you've got 2 channels on this, you've got 2 channels on this. Technically you've got 4 power amplifiers there of 10 watts apiece. Now, each one of the amplifiers contains the same electronics as you see here: power supply, a replay module, loudspeaker, and record and replay electronics. Now, it seems a bit silly to have 2 power supplies, but EMI believed that having 2 power supplies got rid of hum from each amplifier, so therefore bringing the sound quality up. It isn't unnecessary because on the stereo versions of this machine, where you had a stereo replay unit, a stereo set of electronics and everything, there was only 1 power supply. The recorder is built like a tank, like most of the EMI stuff. All the controls and everything for adjusting, for instance here we've got the equalizations for the high speeds and low speeds, all can be adjusted, all of which are hidden underneath these plates which state preset controls. That's the same for the power supply. The major transformers taps, which you can change for different countries. The layout of the recorder is pretty simple. You've got line inputs, line outputs. Down here you've got loudspeaker outputs as well. You've got this here, your main record level control. You've then got 2 large switches here, meter and monitor. Meter controls what you see on this meter here. So for instance, the line input, record line in, or the line output coming from the head. Down here, this allows you to hear what's coming out via the loudspeaker. You've got an output gain which reflects on the meter as well. The main tape deck is the same on most EMI tape recorders. On this one here, you've got a strobe wheel. Sometimes these heavy rollers were replaced with a lighten style roller. I'm not quite sure why. The controls are very simple. Spool, which allows you to rewind left and right, replay, and off. We have this drum style counter, which can be turned by finger, but it's driven by this roller here. It rotates this drum around very slowly. We've also got the bias controls at the top here, so we can set the bias of the machine. We can also monitor that on the meter. The reel hubs are for nab, AEG DINs, and you need to use a different type control knob in the back. Normal cine reels. Now there's a switch in the back to switch it from 7-inch reels and smaller and 10.5-inch reels. But when you use them, you require a different style turnbuckle knob, which will hold the reels down onto the platters. In the back of the tape recorder, we have a compartment. Now, depending on the style of machine, there is enough space in there to put cables. On this particular machine, there is a large box there, which could actually fit inside the machine, giving you even more space to put cables. Unfortunately, the way that this one's been designed, there's not enough space to put all the cables for the tape deck and everything else. Located inside the machine are two reel holders, and also we've got inside there a cable from the amplifier to an external loudspeaker. Sadly, I can't do a video demonstration of this machine up and running because it just doesn't. Every time it's plugged in, it trips the mains out. I have traced it down to a problem with one of the cables, but the cable actually checks out electronically fine, which can only make me think that somewhere along the lines, when there's high voltage going through the cable, it's causing an arc and tripping out. Now, I've metered the cables through, and there just is not a problem. There's no shorted cables, no nothing. So probably the only route to go down is to strip out the cables and replace them with new ones. As you can see, these are the two amplifiers, left and right, which are quite a sizable unit. When you think about it, this large stereo machine was designed for high quality sound, which doesn't have the same frequency range as something that fits in your pocket nowadays. But a lot of people would say that the sound quality of valve gear sounds a lot better. It's for definite that this machine is worth a lot more than a small mini displayer would be. The electronics in this machine are quite sought after for people making guitar amplifiers or valve amplifiers for microphones and such like. But it seems a shame to have such a beautiful machine stripped down just purely to be used as spare parts for somebody who wants to make their microphone sound good.